hello guys, this is The Reasoning, and we are here with our lovely cast of people, live and direct from Instagram. So let's introduce ourselves. I am Crystal, aka Empress Crystal.
Kerry.
VVS.
Jazz.
Rev.
Nicola.
Just.
And we've asked you viewers for the past couple of days to choose from 4 topics to talk about. And you guys have chosen by only 4% slide between 2 of the options. You chose to talk about mental health. And I think that's a good one coming off of the back of mental health. I think it's Mental Health Month. And a lot of mental health, I think, resonates with what's going on in the world right now. So it's a good one to talk about. So, I think we should start with our lovely newest cast member, Jazz.
Hey.
Kick us off with what you feel mental health is like. Either you can speak personally, you can speak from your perception, you can speak from your perspective in our community, from your heritage.
Alright. Well, firstly, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you for inviting me here. It's quite an honour to be able to speak about my experience and my perception, and just to be able to share what we feel and know. What I think about mental health, we all have it. We have a body, we have a mentality, and it has a certain level of health depending on how you think and how you feel and how those things work in conjunction with each other. I'm an Asian girl. I grew up in a very white area, and I found the most comfort actually in the black community. So, you know,
What area was that? What area?
I grew up in Chipping Sodbury.
Okay, just for the people that didn't know.
Yeah. So Chipping Sodbury, 20-minute drive down the M32, and you're there. But for me, I was in Bristol every single week, so it was strange. I had a real connection to Bristol. I never felt like it was really far, and I never.
Was your connection mental, or do you think your connection was more physical, or do you think your connection was ethnic?
My connection to Bristol was, I think it was a spiritual one from a very young age.
So you didn't feel like you was more accepted down in Bristol because of there was a wider variety of ethnicities everywhere.
In Bristol, I had more things to be careful about, because in Chipping Sodbury, as an Asian girl, because I grew up around mostly white people, things like riding a bike, going swimming, these things were not controversial, and I didn't know them to be controversial. But for my cousins who were in Bristol, because the Asian community was so wide, things like that were really like, they couldn't do it. So I was treated a bit
They wasn't
different.
allowed to ride a bike.
They weren't allowed to ride a bike. A lot of them weren't allowed to go swimming. A lot of them weren't allowed to wear certain things. So when I'd then come to Bristol, I was different from them as well, which is where I would get on with you, because we look similar, but we're allowed to do similar things. My people who were more like me were not allowed to do what I was allowed to do.
In a religious way, you weren't allowed to do that kind of stuff, like going swimming obviously involves
My family let me.
declothing.
They let me. This
Do you know what? I'm still stuck on this bike. Why wasn't they allowed to ride a bike?
I'm not really sure.
No, but is it because of the clothing, the attire, or?
I think it's something about the actual physical riding off the bike. I don't know. I think there was a lot of talk about it all can damage your virginity or some shit like that.
Do you know what?
Wow!
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Like riding horses.
I've heard that.
Yeah, I have
like,
heard it.
basically, girls are not supposed to do anything
mad.
that's too overexerting
On their back.
on anything.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a way of controlling women, isn't it? It's a way of control.
Yeah, well,
isn't
that's
it?
it.
To say that
That's
you
it,
can't climb a tree,
Yeah,
you can't
that's
go
a
swimming,
sick
you can't.
thing.
you
Whoever
can't
made
ride
that
a
rule
horse.
is sick in their head.
But it's
Nah,
control.
that's something else,
So,
still.
but that wasn't something that I experienced. My family were like, "Wow, she should ride a bike. Well, her friends are doing
That's
it."
good then.
So I'm very lucky. So I don't go around giving loads of Asian people advice, because I know that my family are well liberal.
So no wonder there was more. You felt better in Bristol then. No wonder.
Well, I loved it in Chipping Sodbury because I got to do whatever I
Is
wanted
it quite
to do.
countrified there then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So alright.
I've only driven through. I don't know it.
No, it was pretty good. Like, I put it this way, yeah. If someone called me Packy or something like that, if one person called me Packy, I'd have 10 white people going, "What'd you call her?"
Yeah.
I deck you, I will.
Leave her alone.
Leave her alone. She's my mate.
So alright then, moving to Bristol, what do you think? Do you think that helped your mental state as a child? Obviously you're an adult now, so do you think if you stayed in Chipping Sodbury, your mental state would be different as an adult, other than living in Bristol?
I left Chipping Sodbury because of my mental state, because I was falling out with my family. You know, so the first thing for me to do would be to go to a place where I feel comfortable and accepted, which was Bristol, where I have friends, you know. And yeah, mental health has been a journey.
You see, key word, you said accepted. Do you feel more accepted in Bristol than in Chickensbury?
It was more about my family.
Were you being a bit too liberal for your family then, even though they were liberated?
No, what it is they were battling with their culture and their liberalness.
Right, okay.
So they wanted to be traditional, but they wanted to be free. And the two don't mix. And that was hard for them. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I had to take myself out of that mix and just take what I've got to work with, because I don't have their mentality. I didn't grow up in Bangladesh, I grew up in England. So I have a very English mentality. So we're going to think differently. So I took myself out of that, because at that point I needed work, I needed community, I needed friends. So I came here where I had black friends, Asian friends and white friends, but everybody was doing their own thing, and that's what I loved about Bristol. Do you know what I mean? Everybody was doing their own thing.
Bristol.
Yeah. Everybody was doing their own thing, and you know, I mean, I was introduced to drum and bass at the tender age of 12.
Oh gosh.
Tender age of 12, and that helped my mental health. My mum might not agree. You know, it didn't help her mental health at all. But you see, when mum and dad were arguing, God, it was nice to turn something up and just rave in my room.
Get away.
Yeah, music has always been a massive, important factor
I
in
think
my
music
life.
for everyone's a form of escapism for everybody.
Yeah, and drum and bass, like a lot of it reminded me of my own friggin' heartbeat. It was like so fun.
Oh my god, I'm not even.
And I'd ride on it because it was like, okay, this is something that matches my.
And you
tempo.
find your own pace as well. You find your own pace with drum and bass.
Yeah, and my tempo would.
I
come
always find
down.
the slow pace. Like the drum and bass when people are some slow pace.
Depending on where I am in my mood, if I'm really angry, I'm going on the high one.
Yeah.
But if I'm calm, I'm on the middle to the low.
Yeah, I got you.
But yeah, it really helped.
Okay, so Miss Kerry, being a lovely white lady in the urban community, how do you feel like day-to-day business affects your mental state, or anyone around you? Does anything affect you more or less? Just talk about your mental well-being in general. Doesn't have to be too personal, just however you resonate to the conversation.
I think I'll keep it related to the year that we've all had, to be honest, just because I think it'll be most relatable. I could go off on so many different tangents, but I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
You won't get any of the hour, it'll be mine.
I got you.
So I think for me, from March last year when lockdown kicked in, I was on furlough until October. And then the place that I worked in, I had to make a big decision basically. So the place that I worked in, they were cutting staff. So we weren't obviously working at the time, but they had to make cuts to match obviously the losses they're taking during COVID. So there were, I think, 4 of us that worked in the information desk, and they were keeping 3 on.
Yeah,
so it was almost
yeah,
literally my little fishbowl. Jesus. So they're only keeping 3 of us on, and then it became a whole thing of like consultations, and then them deciding who to keep. I've been in that job for 5 years, so it's something that I was very comfortable in.
Yeah.
Like, I love the people I work with, I knew the job, but I wanted to leave. So
What was it? What was the job?
I worked in the information desk in Cabot.
Okay.
Yeah, so it wasn't a mind-blowing job, but it's something that I knew how to do, and like, whilst it's like so restricted in terms of like I'm not out seeing the world, I still got to meet so many different people every day and see
That
so
little
many.
pod thing in the middle.
Yeah. I'd see like the challenges people face, like being in the city centre, like homelessness, drug abuse. Like you wouldn't believe the things that happen to people. Like it's probably not something I should share, but based on the topic, can be a lot of people that are suffering with suicidal thoughts, and they use the car park. Like the car park is a go-to spot. And like I've got to give props to the staff that work there, because they have to attend those situations.
That's like a new
Yeah,
thing
but
I just
seriously,
learned,
I'm
like,
really glad you said
Yeah.
that.
What do you
So,
mean?
yeah.
Use the car park for what?
So they'll go to the
They
top of the
try
car
to
park
do
and
it.
drive.
To try. Oh my god.
They do amazing work, literally, like no one has, thankfully, because they're always there to match it. But like Bristol, I think mental health and like the suffering with it is just rabid in Bristol. Like there's so much of it, but it hits people in so many different ways that we're blind to. that we don't see every day. And I
And
did
people
see that.
wait, don't they? They leave it to that last. Like people do leave it too long, don't they? They don't. People don't.
Everyone's screaming for help is different. So what it might look like to somebody else, it might not look like to me and you, and then it goes unrecognised.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Then, you know,
And then if
until
some
it's too
people,
late.
if some people don't even feel like they're worthy of getting help,
Yeah, and
you know,
that,
some people don't even feel worthy of being alive.
And you don't know at that.
Yeah,
point,
it's
do you?
really difficult.
So is that a lot of things that you've seen in like visually yourself? So how did that make you feel? Because that must have been a toll on your own mental health.
It's
Really?
to be fair, like it's something that you want to help with. Like obviously it happens, and you might read it in a newspaper, you might see it on the news, like here and there that actually happens. You might see a poll or like some figures of suicide rates, but when it's not something that happens around you, I think we're all very blind to the fact that it does. People actually do take the last step and go that far. So to know it even happened, when you're working in a shopping centre, you don't anticipate having training for suicidal prevention. Like you don't anticipate that being a course you've got to take to work in a shopping centre. So I think it's something that's around us a lot. So I wouldn't say it affected my mental health in terms of it brought me down, but it more so motivated me to be that extra
Made you
help.
more
Like
aware.
it definitely raised my awareness on so many things, like even the drug abuse. We'd have regulars, so like even just entertaining them with a conversation sometimes.
What's your regular? What are you, shoplifters?
I mean, that was it's Bristol.
I got this.
Yeah, that was a regular. But so basically, I won't go off too far on it. But yeah, it was a job that I really did love. So obviously I was on furlough. Then it was a whole thing of everyone kind of had to be judged on whether they deserved to keep the job. And I thought I've been sat on the fence now as to whether I want to be here for a while. I didn't see fairness in me trying to run this race. When if I got kept on and someone lost their job that actually wants to be there, I'm taking away their opportunity for me to sit there and be miserable still. So like I made that choice, and then I had to find a job quite rapidly, which wasn't easy in these times. And it is the stress that throws on your head, like to pay your bills, like just the basics, like that's a worry. Which I know a lot of people go through. It's not a brand new thing, it's not a rare thing, but there was that, and then finding a new job. So now I work from home. I've been in my same four walls for like over a year now.
Girl,
I
tell
was
me
going to say, so
about
you've
it.
gone from you for like someone like me. I've got like a ton of kids, so I'm always busy all the time.
Tell you've got 5.
That's why, but that's why I do it though, because it literally keeps me going. And people ask me how do I do it. It's the only thing that keeps me going, literally a lot of times. But you've gone from being like in the centre, surrounded by people, in a hub, to being in a house.
Yeah.
So what are you doing from home?
I work for Computer Share now, so I'm speaking to people, but
Surely
day
that's
to
got a
day-
message of mental state a bit.
That's what I was just about to say. So day to day, just so we can wrap that, because I don't want to dig too much into individuals. But how does that make you feel on an overall day to day?
Would you take your old job back?
no. No, I won't go into that, but no. But as of right now, like I feel very, what I've been saying to anyone that's asked me recently is I feel out of place.
I hear you.
Like I feel very lost in terms of like, I don't actually know what I'm doing. I've never procrastinated so much in my life.
Telling me.
Never ever. Like I've got so much shit that I need to do, even down to tiny things, and I'm not doing it. And I can't tell you why I'm not doing it, but I think that's just, I've lost that. I don't want to say the drive for life, because I want to be out there, I want to be living, and I want to be doing as much as I can to make the most of the time I've got, but I'm just not doing it. And
There's
I just
something wrong with
can't.
your mental.
Yeah, it's just
You
that
gotta
the,
just- you
it's
gotta
like
channel
the
it.
drive's there, but it's also not. Like I need a reboot. You know, on switch it off and
Too
on
much
again. It
coping does
works.
that. When you're coping, and then you feel
Autopilot. Boom.
Yeah.
Just kicks in.
Well, last year I had a bit of a funny moment, and finding out about the parasympathetic nervous system. That is amazing.
Do you know what? I want you to hold that, because we've had a conversation before, and I want Jazz to get into that after.
That can
but
help
hold that.
you.
This
Yeah.
is really amazing what she's telling me, and I did a bit of research after we had the conversation, and I liked it. And it was a lot to do with your mental health and coping mechanisms. So we'll go into that after. We're not health professionals. Can I just put that out there?
No.
It's just opinion. You could do research yourself, but it was a really good conversation I had. with Jazz.
University of Life.
This is where we are. So I'm gonna go to KB,
Straight.
and like I said, where you want to go with it, it's completely up to you. It's your floor.
Alright. Well, I'm mental still.
Straight
Yeah, we know that bit. Yeah,
We know this.
I'm mental.
Tell the fan. Tell them.
And I like jazz a bit. Like I come here, I'm not born and bred Bristolian.
Hey, what? Hey, get out. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Yeah, I was born in London.
From the big city.
Yeah.
Come out of there and it was
What part?
northwest.
Welcome.
Oh, where?
Arrow, South Arrow.
It's like
Okay.
But yeah, it was kind of mad. Like coming here, that was kind of like a trauma for me on its own. Like I didn't know, and I had a nan up here and that, but that was it. And I'm coming here and I don't know no.
Why'd you make the move?
Why? I didn't make no move. I'm like 6, 7.
You got removed.
I go where I get told, innit? Like,
Yeah.
but it was mad. Not gonna lie, it was kind of mad.
Did you feel at that young age that you had to automatically be different because you've moved?
Nah. Do you know what? Man was
What was
taking
you
the
gonna say?
piss out of me when I first come around.
Oh, what, people were already here?
Yeah, I used to get like bullied and shit. I used to have to swing it most days.
Oh no.
Swear down, some different shit like.
See, so that from young had a big effect on your mental health.
That was right, I liked it.
Okay. I like
Right,
that.
yeah. I was getting punched in the face sometimes.
No, but you
It
learned
builds
to
character.
Yeah, you learned to stick
Did you
up for
punch
yourself.
him
Yeah, like, you know what I'm
Did
saying?
you punch
Yeah.
him back?
I
Yeah.
can't.
I love punching people.
Yeah.
You sound like me, that's what I say.
What?
Okay, we'll pass that.
Do you know what I'm good at? I'm good at transition, innit?
Okay, yeah.
So I know, you know what I'm saying? I'm good at that. So I done quite well. Like sorting my mental head out with that, because just getting away
Do
from
you know
all
what, I
my
would've
friends
thought-
and family and them thing there. Like,
But at the same time, I thought it'd been easy. Being 7.
nah,
being
what,
7.
all my
That's a
brethren.
very
It's still at my good young age. You mix with the kids.
Nah,
But even
fuck
at the
all
age
of
of
that.
teenager.
Fuck all of that, fam. Deep it, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have no one up it.
Yeah, it's
I've
not
got all my
it's not
cousins,
easy.
all my aunties, all everything in London.
He
My
knows
brethren. I don't know no one up here.
No, I guess he
one.
was different in some
I
type
don't
of
know
way.
fucking
From
anybody
Bristol,
but my nan.
and you're
Like,
from London.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Nah,
Like,
bro.
what school
Man-
did you go to when you came?
Willow Green and Cutler's Brook and that.
Where's that?
St.
Heartless, bro.
Colours.
You know, that's what I could.
That's what I'm saying.
So man was
he
just flung
he was
himself.
kinda in the ends and that.
You
That's what
understand?
he's in the ends and you know.
I don't even like. See, when I first come as well, it's kind of like a grooming thing. Like I had poles in my ear, east in my ear,
Yeah,
all that
yeah.
mad thing, and I just went fish ponds.
Yeah.
Fish ponds. I made fish ponds my own. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I was just fuck
But
that.
that, but yeah, that's
But
what it
even
is.
all them
man.
little things as a youth, it's mad. Like we don't even really get it, but that's raw. Like yeah.
So as you got older and you see your young self, how do you feel like that had an effect on you, and could you have done anything differently back then?
To be honest, I feel like that's why I'm raw angry, because I'm an angry kind of guy. But I channel my like anger into humour. That's why I always just laugh and shit. So.
I like that you. said
Otherwise,
that.
I'm just gonna go mad.
Yeah, no, I hear
What are
it,
you
so-
angry about?
Everything really.
What?
It could just be anything. It doesn't even matter. I'm not angry now. I'm cool now. But I'm just saying.
Okay,
in
no, the
general.
reason I ask that is
You can have anger from things in the past that's stored in your head
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
never got closure to it. So
Right.
it's always there subliminally, you know what I'm saying?
and you
It
don't
was
even know what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, like-
There's
That could be
something
questions.
about
you
it.
end up not even knowing
Mental
what it is
health
because
problems
you've been
are
there for
born
so
from
many
that.
years. You know what I'm trying to
Mental
say?
You
Like,
could be thinking and not even like in your front of your cortex be like, why did they move me? You could be angry about that and you don't even know you're angry about that because you just got moved, so you don't even think. Do you understand what I mean? It could be anything, but sorry, go on.
Yeah, but it's not even just the move. It was just the whole vibe of it all. Like you know the one there, like trust. It was
It's
just all
funny,
great.
isn't it?
But
Because
like I said, sorry.
no, I was just going to say how adults do things thinking that kids don't notice, but a lot of what we're talking about is stuff that, you know, we've...
Yeah, because it all messes with our mental.
It is. We downplay a lot of our mentality due to what we think that we should think, and that
What
we
we've
think
been
that
conditioned,
what we can be conditioned
allowed
to
to
think,
say.
and allowed to say, and allowed perceived to think. But sorry,
Yeah.
we keep cutting you. Go on.
No, that's calm still. But yeah, I learned to adapt. You know, into the Gert light way and all that. And now I'm like, you know what I mean?
You're
But like I
a
said,
proper
yeah,
bubber.
from even fish ponds as well. You got to remember, like that's kind of like it was like a white bit.
Yeah.
It's alright
back in the
now
day,
because you
it
know
was,
I'm
yeah.
patting it and turning it a bit. You know what I mean? But it was the white bits them time there, and it was just all
what
like,
fish ponds?
yeah,
Mm.
like man's having to like deal with these like racist man and that as well. Like it's like
Yeah, fish ponds got that little
So
ring.
did
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
remember?
it does.
And I was when man was young.
Mm.
Fuck yeah, no.
Mad.
So do you say you grew up kind of having to defend yourself?
Yeah, all the time. From I come here, that's all I've ever done. Big man thing, that's raw all I've ever done.
So do you feel like as an adult, you're
Literally,
still
fam. This
defending
is why I
yourself?
just don't like shit. Oh, I hate this.
Go on.
It's just so mad the way like, but it's made me who I am, so I raw love it. I
Mm.
hate this place at the same time, but then I love it at the same time because this is my home, innit? This is my place, and this is what I roll.
It is,
with.
you've been here for,
Yeah,
you've been here for
yeah,
that
yeah.
long now, it's home.
But you know what? Yeah, it's just like it's made you do you, innit? And be
Yeah.
you, you know what I'm saying?
This is why I love it at the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
time.
yeah,
But the way it's
100%.
cheating, man.
A lot of people,
I'm not feeling it. You get me?
A lot of people, but a lot of people, them situations, it could crumble people. You know what I'm trying to say?
The thing is, for me,
you got your own, you got a personality. You got something. You know what I'm trying to say?
You see, Bristol is paceless. I find Bristol is paceless. I find if you drop yourself in Bristol, no matter what age, no matter what creed, you can be okay because you set your own pace in Bristol. Where if you go Manchester, you go London, you got to follow a regime of trying to match up, and that's hard. You understand what I'm saying? For me, that's hard.
Why do you have to try and match up?
You don't, but if you're going to major cities, and
even London's fast. London's fast.
I lived in London for 5 years. It's fast.
You know what?
I come back and I get
there. You're spending like a bills. Before you even get into London, you're spending like a bill.
Yeah, it's mad.
Petty, get your bagel, get your J Goose. You know what I mean? You're spending like a bills.
That's juice, by the way, guys.
But yeah, go on. But yeah, other than that, man, I've been learning to adapt. I'm alright now. I still have little twerks in life where people try and piss me off. Like, I don't think I do well with relationships, so I don't really.
Do you think that's got a problem to do with your anger?
Yeah, 100%. But where I'm at now in life, my anger ain't too deep.
Oh, why are you laughing?
You said that. Don't snap up the girl. Don't snap up the girl left still. But yeah, definitely.
That patience sometimes.
At the same time, I think right now in life, I've learned to sort that shit out. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's played a part in that probably. Still, I'm not gonna lie.
So can I ask, just to wrap up just a little bit?
Yeah.
Do you feel like as an adult, you still have a lot of the mentality, awareness from you did as a child, and it brings you into your adult life? Do you think you still struggle with things that affected you from back then? Do you think that boils up in your adult life?
Nah, not really.
No?
These are new anger problems. You know what I'm saying?
Remember,
this is not my
when
life
did they
now.
start?
Yeah. It stems from
Yeah,
somewhere.
but you know what? You can heal from certain things, innit?
Help me that.
Them things there, I've healed from that, innit? So
Okay.
That whole childhood stuff is not really that. Obviously,
That's what you
on my way through. No, but this is what I'm gonna tell you. On my way through, it's still been there, so it's still part of my persona, but it's not as raging.
I love the way you. I really respect the way you worded that.
But healing is not just a. Alright, you're cool now, and then you swap. You blend. It's like my job plastering. You gotta get the irons out. You gotta blend the wool. You gotta get it straight.
And
it takes
time.
time. It takes time. You gotta keep going over it and over it, flicking it and flicking it and going over it. You gotta
perfect it.
You understand?
In the craft. No, I agree. All right, so I'm gonna go to our Jazz and ask you a little bit of
Hey!
You know what? Yeah, I'm kind of on your level. I think when it comes to mental health, I think mine is a bit gone in the sense of we're not unstable. But you see, for a normal person to see things that we saw, they go and get counselling. Yeah. For somebody to witness their friend being stabbed and they're covered in blood, or their friend being jumped, or even being in a mad car.
Can I just say something? I just remembered. Do you not feel, as an urban community, we counsel ourselves? Mm-hmm. We go to ourselves for judge, jury, counsellor,
we
doctor.
Listen, it's not even that we just counsel ourselves. We normalise a lot of things that should not be
normalised. And it should be 100%.
Let me give you a prime example. You see when like you say you're getting 3 white guys, Bill, Peter and John, they're going downtown. They say, we got our clothes, let's get our stuff together, and we got our money. They got their stuff. Now when you're talking about Tyrone, Leroy and Jerome, one of them's talking about, we got the knife, and one of them will just say, I got that, it's standard. Yeah. It's standard. So I got that, it's nothing. But if Peter were to say to John, I got my knife, what are you doing, mate? Put that down. You're fucking stupid. Do you understand? We normalise it. And this is why I think we're all gone a little bit, because the things that we see and the things that we go through, we just normalise it. It's like, for some reason, it's like even with hustlings, like juggling something that you're maybe not supposed to, within the community or where I rose up, it's not even seen as something that bad. It's just, I'm trying to make a bit of money and this is the way I'm doing it. Do you understand? And as long as I'm not physically hurting somebody, it's almost okay to go do it.
Do you think if somebody said to you, Do you think if when you were younger, if you were doing those things, if someone said to you, listen, you actually deserve to not put yourself in those kind of risks, yeah? You doing that could risk this, could risk that. Would it have made a difference to you? Or would you think that they were a pussy?
It would have made a difference if that person had something firmly on the table. I've had people in the past say to me as a kid, what are you dealing with? You need to choose a different path. But telling me I need to choose a different path is very, very different from actually showing me a different path.
So if somebody said, come and be a pastor.
Yeah, but
Do you understand? Like, obviously, listen, this is my problem. When I was a bit younger, unfortunately, just like my son, I didn't listen to all of the information I was given to. I chose to learn the hard way and make my own mistakes. I didn't listen to my parents and certain elders that were telling me, don't do this, don't do that, because they've already made those same mistakes. Now, when I'm trying to tell my son these same things, sometimes he don't want to listen. And he's going out and making his own mistakes. But he needs to learn.
The environment, innit?
No, but what I'm trying to say, you learn from your parents. You learn from your parents.
You learn from your parents.
From their own mental struggle, they pass their lessons down to us.
So you ain't always going to listen. You ain't always going to listen to, like, you know. You ain't always going to listen.
But why is that? Because
you get to a certain age, yeah, where you look back on things where you're like, say school for instance, yeah. I remember my mum, my dad, they used to say, yo, I wish I could go back to school. I'm like, you're mad. I can't wait for leave school. But then when I got to a certain age, I was like, right,
you understood it.
But who did you listen to? Your parents or your peers?
Yeah,
it was peers. We listened to our
yeah, I
peers
didn't.
at the time.
I just listened to yourself. You thought you knew better.
Yeah, I thought I knew that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like,
But that's
I understand that now.
But
Listen,
I think as children, though, I think it is for us to, like, we can't help it. It's biology.
But how can
to
you
push
teach your children something
against-
that mentally you're not capable of doing for yourself?
I'm like, you haven't
You've
given an
got
example
to,
of.
you understand? You got to mentally kind of structure yourself and your mindset, even as a grown adults as we are,
Well, this
to then
comes
push
down
our
to-
children to do different. Because we can't tell our kids,
But
do
they're not
this and
going
do
to
that.
listen. This is what makes it worse. And it's like what you're saying. They're not.
No.
We're treading
You have
in
to
it,
be
but
the
they're not.
example.
They have to make their own
Some
mistakes.
children do.
Yes.
Not all children are just.
Girls,
Not
man.
all children just.
Sometimes you think they're listening, but these
Nah,
times
you know what,
around
let me
they're
just say
doing
something,
take
yeah,
off
this is
cars
what-
and them things.
See with these
Nah,
youths,
man.
see like now, like I always try to interact with them, you get me? But really, I'm trying to make them better their life, innit? But I'm not gonna do it in a way where it was done to me because it didn't work with me. You know what I'm trying to say? So it's like you gotta come down to their level. You know what I'm saying? And kind
You
of
can't talk at them.
yeah, you can't. You know what I'm trying to say? Like
You've got to try reason with them.
Not tell.
yeah, like you know what I'm saying. I don't. It's hard. It's not easy. You know what I'm saying? But you just know that not everything. They might listen to one or two things you
Yeah, I was
say.
gonna say, do you
but
think
just
they're
know-
still even actually listening? Because man's been on that, right?
Yeah,
You know,
like,
you
it's
bring
like-
it down to them, like,
But it's the preaching thing. But you know how it was when you was young, the preaching thing. The preaching
Yeah, but
thing.
it's
Man
not
can't
a
take the
preaching
preaching
thing,
thing.
but it's just-
That's what it is. Don't preach
look,
to
look
man.
at this.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Look at this though, yeah. It doesn't matter what we say and what we advise people. Each person, your you, my you, yeah. They all have a life in their body and they all
You've got
have
their
their
own
own
character.
choice.
Yeah, they're all going through their
They're gonna-
own mental
no, but the
struggles.
thing is-
Growing, puberty, all these type of things plays a game.
But from our struggles and from our learning and stuff, they will have learned, and what we've instilled in them. Although they will push for a while because it's our job to push against what our parents say. In the end, we come round to it anyway.
But how long? Does it take to
Wow.
actually come around
That's
to
what
it?
happens in
It's gonna
between,
take
isn't
her-
it?
I was just gonna say, do you think like, I don't know whether it stems from something, but we're all kind of hardwired with a need to rebel. So
I
feel
think that's
like
kind
Yeah.
of free willish. I think that's.
I think
I
it's
feel like
survival.
a lot of us have it in us to the point of like, with parenting, obviously I can only speak from being a child, not being a parent, but for me it was always like, even within my friendship circles, it was like, oh, I've been told to do this, so I want to go against and do the opposite. But then do you think a different outcome would come of it if you wasn't telling them? So you would say like, that is wrong, like something was wrong, but in terms of routes they should take, how they should behave, what they should wear, would there be different outcomes if they would kind
If
of
you
left to make
balance
those
it,
decisions?
if you balance it, you can't be the friend either. You
Rebel
can't.
sounds like
Yeah, but
me.
you can't let a child cannot control themselves like that. Seriously, you can't do
Depends on the
that.
age as well.
No, rebel does sound like beaten to
Rebel
most of us.
sounds like
we got
beaten.
beaten.
But rebel.
Like Justin.
Yo.
I think what
Sounds like
Justin said,
beaten.
what Jav said a minute ago is true. A lot of us grew up on survival rather than a lot of other stuff. And
Man decided not to
For
do
me,
that
I
today.
had
I'm
a choice.
rebelling. Man,
I had to.
cracker.
No.
I'm
No.
doing movies today, man.
For me, I'd rather get the breakup.
would you?
Yeah.
I did as well.
No. So I watched my sister go through a forced arranged marriage. I was
Wow.
ready for the breaking up. I was ready. I wasn't going to go through
That's a
that.
different
Brought me
life,
up.
still.
Brought me up. What? I'm not doing that.
You see, even that's a mental thing.
Yeah, that's kind of
because you've mentally prepared yourself
I
to get
prepared-
back up.
Prepared from 12.
That's
So,
mad.
That's mad.
but the thing is, so when I actually got
And
pregnant,
who was going to be you?
it would have been.
Your
Well, I
dad,
thought it would have been my
uncles,
mum and
brothers.
dad. Yeah, that's what I thought. It never happened though. I mean, when I got, because I was so
Times
rebellious.
got
when
a
I
bit
did-
easier
when-
though.
It wasn't even that though, because I was
What was
raggo
the age
from
though?
young.
What was the age in the year?
So I was, in 1993 I was 10. My sister is 11 years older than me, right? So she grew up differently as well, and she grew up in Bangladesh. But I was so prepared. I was ready to die from a very young age, yeah?
That's such
So
a
what,
big.
what's the
Ready
age they
to
marry
die.
you at?
I'm going to do what I want to do.
Regardless.
Jagas.
And if you're going to kill me about it,
Do you know what? That's because you grew up with one of those white girls. I'll be tipping something because you see,
Yeah.
the girls down there,
Yeah.
they was a bit more controlled by the whole bubble of the religion that they're involved in. But it's all a mental, it's all a mental
See,
control.
for me, it was about freedom because my mum, she's so mad into history, yeah, and she's so mad into Black history. So it's all about freedom. So then to tell me that I can't be free,
Yeah, it was.
that don't make sense.
Yeah. Why was you there though? Because it's kind of mad, yeah. Because when I was growing up, yeah, I was always told like the Indian man don't really like the black man like that.
Oh, my mum does.
Do you know what?
Nah,
I
let's
got
be real, yeah. Like,
My mum does because my mum's like,
They
no,
come in,
Africa,
they come
no,
like the chocolate and them thing
no,
there.
It's
Well,
no, they don't.
Well,
Like
I
you,
was
if you
gonna
brought a
say,
black man
I think
home,
it depends.
if you brought a black man home, I don't know your parents.
Wait.
So I don't
Okay,
speak.
so
But
hang
I'm
on.
just
So
saying,
ask
if you
me.
brought,
So ask me.
I'm gonna ask you if you brought a black man home. No, let me just talk in just like,
That's so
because
different.
Ask me.
no, because
Ask
She's
me.
got a child from
you're-
a ras.
That's the question.
Ras
I
from
heard that.
yard. Really
Okay,
ras.
cool. I heard
Bro,
that. That's why I
that's
knew. No,
Yeah.
listen. It's not always the case.
No,
but I'm
it's
saying
not, but
majority,
we can't- no, this is the
majority of
problem.
Asian,
Right, calm down.
No,
they
this
don't
is the
like
problem.
that.
This is the
Let's
problem when
listen.
we judge. This is the problem when we judge. When we say majority, I've got a lot of family who are now mixed race because my family are quite liberal. So that's a few aunties, a few uncles, right? Because they understand that they've come here and they understand that their children have
The
grown
Westernized,
differently.
yeah.
Yeah, they have to
They
conform to the
cannot.
way of living.
But 30 years ago, my brothers and sisters, because there was so much racism here, there really was no mixing, and it really was stick to your own, send back home.
Alright guys, I'm gonna have to wrap this up quickly because
Yeah,
we're
flip it over.
Yeah, right, so VBS, we're gonna go to you for your little,
What makes you crazy, mate?
your platform.
Uh,
It's a cuckoo and that.
Why do you start stroking the beard?
Now, obviously, like, I suffer from mental health, innit? Like, I've been to jail, I've been on the roads, all of that. That makes that. Even before that, even in my household, like, there's so much things in my life that is I didn't know, innit, until until I got out of jail. Just like 3 years ago.
Can I ask you, did you understand that your behaviour was due to mental health, or did you just think that you were bad, Brack? Like,
Yeah,
but the
thing is, yeah, like, I was kind of like, when I was in like primary school, like, I was kind of bad, Brack. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But why? Why were you bad?
Because of guys like this guy here, like, real talk. It's real like that. That's how it is.
Shot fired!
Them man gave man the green card. You could do whatever you want to do in the school. You know what I'm saying? So we did. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, that's how it went. But obviously, growing up, I went through
That's
certain
terrible
things or whatever.
stuff.
I changed
terrible,
my behaviour,
man.
but it went up and down. It went up and down. I ended up doing 10 years in jail. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? So all of them things, like the jail thing, it created mental health, 100%, like anxiety.
So you think you was alive before you went to prison?
Before I went to prison, I didn't suffer from anxiety.
Because
You know what I'm saying?
Because you didn't look at
When
it.
the door
Yeah.
opens, you gotta be
When
awake.
you know what it was when I first came out the
You gotta
first
be
time.
awake.
What do you mean anxiety? What?
Like anxiety is like I
You suffer
battle,
from anxiety.
I battle
Why,
anxiety
what?
every day. But you know what it is? You'll never know because I just learned how to master. Like, I just mastered it. Like I,
Transition.
Can I
like, you know what I'm
just
trying to say?
say,
But
just say,
Did you
do
hide
you know what
it?
you've learned how to master?
I-
your own level of anxiety because
Yeah.
we all suffer from it and we all deal with it different.
Yeah.
So how your anxiety may not be hers or mine,
Yeah.
but you mastered
Yeah.
your way of
And
dealing
I
with
can't
it.
give you the method either. I just,
Yeah, because
all I
it's-
know
it's-
is
it's for
it
you.
comes, like you get that, if anyone that's got anxiety knows
It's like
the
the
feeling.
transition for
You get that
It's
feeling
So it's
in
definitely
you.
not paranoia. It's
Nah,
definitely
nah,
not
nah,
Can
anxiety.
I just ask?
Anxiety is not
can I
par-
just ask? Hold on. Who on this panel can truly say they suffer with anxiety?
Nah, 100% anxiety. It's not.
Listen.
They're very similar.
They're not.
They're
They're
very
not.
similar.
They're not.
They're not.
No.
They're not, you know.
No, no.
You know,
Anxiety
paranoia.
and paranoia is a completely. They're both mental health,
Yeah.
but paranoia is a completely different avenue to anxiety.
Okay.
the anxiety is just a feel, like you just get that feeling in it, like you can't even explain it. You know what I'm trying to say? But I remember when I first came out of jail and I was a bus case, I was happy, like coming up like through the courts or whatever. As soon as the door opened, I seen everyone. It's like it just went boom. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, no, I agree. No,
And then
no,
I went, and then later on, when I was out, I went to a club. Everyone's coming to me, yo, you're out. I couldn't cope, I had to go home.
Bro,
I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was. You know what I'm saying?
I had the same thing. Went to jail for some stupid driving thing, and when I was in there, I said to myself, I can't wait to get out, see the man there, man. You see, when I go out, I didn't even want to see nobody,
Yeah.
and I don't know what that was.
That's
I don't
what
even know
jail
what it was.
does to a lot of
If
people.
you go
so-
into yourself, but that was anxiety, darling.
This is what I mean. It had to be. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't know if I was just. I didn't know. I don't know what it was. You mean? I was scared at the same time. I was. I don't know why. I don't know what I
Bro,
was.
I didn't know what it was. You know what I'm
You know
saying?
what
Like, I was shook. I was thinking, what is this? Like, I was fighting, like you know what I'm saying? Because I got my mind like, why am I feeling like this? I didn't get it. I was
But
fighting.
at that point,
and then,
realize that your mind is a very strong tool that sometimes.
Sorry.
God.
Do you know what it was? I just looked at the thing and it's a good look.
Did you then realize that your mind and your anxiety levels was uncontrollable at that time? Then you had to realize you had to learn how to cope with that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally just
What is
naturally.
it?
had to-
Because you spent all that time in prison and that it shone a light on it. You had time, and there it was, and then that's when it all comes to you.
Yeah, because this time
And
I
then
went.
when you got to leave, even though 10 years is a long time.
Yeah, this time when I left, I was good. This is what I was saying. The first time it hit me with the first time I did the 2 years. Yeah, it was unexpected. I didn't know. But then obviously when I got this next sentence now, I got like 16 years. So I was just thinking in my head, right, how am I gonna be when I get out after this? Because I know how I was the first time.
being
No one
told
knows
that.
this. No
Just
one even
being told
knows.
that
But
alone.
you know what I'm saying? But-
Was you more worried about yourself coming into
Yeah.
society, or was you worried about society and how you had left it?
Ooh, that's good.
No, I was just worried about. I wasn't worried about society. I was just worried about
So
how literally that was fixated in my head. How am I gonna be when I get out? How am I gonna adjust? I knew I could adjust. 'Cause I'm that kind of person.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? We adapt, innit? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's like it was just the mental health thing, yeah. And then I come out but do you know what it is? Because I was so conscious of it, I come out and it wasn't a thing. You know what I'm saying? But I still suffer from anxiety because I can identify it now.
No,
It's not. I don't understand why people. You know what it is, yeah. You know what it is. See, this environment. This is why environment's bad, you know, because in this environment you can't come out and speak about mental health because automatically people think, oh, you're mad in your head.
They look at you as being a form of weakness.
Everyone suffers from mental
Yeah,
health.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
mental health is trauma to the mind. Yeah, you can see someone get broke up. Yeah, you've never seen that in your life. That's trauma to your mind.
Yeah.
You get it? So everyone suffers
Basically-
from mental health in all different types of ways.
And
You
it
know what
might
I'm
not
trying to
even
say?
hit you today or tomorrow, but you see the
Yeah.
next time something's affecting your brain and you don't know that it was that, you know, that motion that you've never seen. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
coming.
yeah.
Look at this, yeah.
Yeah,
Some people
100%.
get addicted to horror films, yeah, because they've seen certain things and because they've got a certain level of fear, they don't know it, but they love watching horror because that horror will. I used to love horror films because I was very scared as a kid, and horror gave. Well, it gave me something else to be that kind of that level of fear, but it wasn't what I was afraid of. So it's almost like masking what you're afraid of by something just as afraid, you know. You know, and it's really strange. Our addictions, yeah, because sometimes I found myself making philosophies for my own compulsions, things that I know are wrong, things that I do that I know are wrong, but I will make an X, Y, and a Z as to why it should be okay. No, I'll argue with people about why I can do it.
That's me.
Oh, deep down you know it's wrong.
Yeah, that's what we all do
Some
it.
wrong and strong thing.
team. That's another conversation. That's another conversation. That's another conversation. We'll put that up next week. We'll see if that one comes up.
No, I know men who do it. I know men who do it.
Opinions, please.
Hold on. Here's what I'm going to do. Sorry, I'm going to stop this because, we've only got an hour.
Too much.
So, Nick, I want you to just...
Okay, so following on from what you said about the... okay, so going back to that child-adult connection. So, yeah, I spent a lot of time younger, scared and afraid, and it was always like fight or flight situation in my head.
Are you a fighter or a flighter?
Yeah.
Which one are you? Fighter. You are.
I've done both.
Where was this?
I've done both.
You could have brought up girl for fun back in there. What do you mean?
Yeah, what you mean?
Anyway,
If you think about what kind of child would do that, but if you think about how she had to be
No, she
that.
wasn't
She wasn't
really the
fighter.
So when you come when you're scared all the time, as a child you don't really. It's like what you were saying. Like kids just get through it. As a child, you just do it. You get through it, and then. But I feel like when children are doing that all the time for a large majority of their childhood, you're just putting it away. All you're doing is just putting it back, and you're putting it back. But then again, like what you said, it's actually a thing that people later on in life, like so when you're even like coming up to 40, I know thinking of somebody in particular, all the trauma that they suffered has come and hit them so hard now. Their whole life is just fucked now, but only now. Because their life wasn't a mess before. It was all good because it didn't come to them then.
Well, it wasn't that it was all good. They were just masking it.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go on.
Like, there's one thing like just coming to mind here. Like, so our environment, is a big part to play in mental health, because it's like things like, for instance, remember growing up in like Bannerman Road and stuff like that. Think of what we was doing, as kids. You know what I'm saying? As kids, so you're growing to like. You're doing things that man are doing or something like man like 7, 8, 9. You know what I'm trying to say? Like you're in primary school, so in our environment, it pushes you to do things quicker than when you're meant to do it. You know what I'm saying? So that there is going to cause you mental health.
Yeah, see,
You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
all the lot showing man some fuckery.
Fuck bare fuckery. Bare fuckery in my show, man. Do you hear me? Real talk. But that's how it goes, though. That's what happens to them.
Got the fish.
You know what I'm saying? That's how it happens to them. That's the cycle. You know what I'm saying? Like,
when you think back, like then when you think back and it comes to you, like little when I was much younger, like really young, for me it's always been a problem. My mental health has always been a problem for as long as I can remember. It's so jarring now, and now I just think, is it ever going to go away? And I don't think
No.
But you know what?
but what do you suffer for mental health?
Yeah, well, you seem very.
When you say mental health,
Don't ever use the term normal because that's not.
Yeah, what is normal?
Keyword seem. I said you seem.
Okay,
very normal.
like together, like I got it together.
Yeah, like you got it together.
And you know, it's usually those people that haven't,
But do you know? But do you not feel
when you dig below the surface?
Yeah.
because I'm a control freak.
Yeah.
See, last year, you'd think that everything, I've got it all legit. Everything's on the surface. Everything looks fine.
Yeah.
Behind the door, I'm screaming mess.
Yeah.
Open the door, I'm perfectly professional.
Yeah.
But I was a total control freak. But what pushed it for me is my son started to grow, and I realised that I can't control him.
Yeah.
And I thought I was having all sorts of crazy thoughts. Because
Shut up,
I was
Mum.
control.
Yeah.
I just wanted to murder him. Do you know what I mean? And I just thought, I had to really look at myself and look at how I can be like a bit of a tyrant when things don't go my way. I became a bully.
Well,
I became the bully that I was afraid of in my life.
I
And I had to stop that.
But that's
I rate
survival
you though,
mode.
'cause she right.
I don't
Certain
need
guys, they don't
to-
accept when they're
I
wrong,
don't
you
need
know.
to-
I rate this
I don't
guy
need
because
to-
she accepts when she's
Wait,
wrong.
do you think sometimes that mental state, right, what you just said, see being a control freak, and you even just said you agreed with it, with women, with their children, sometimes when they control their children, you think sometimes they can bring that control into their relationship.
Do you know what it is? Again, it's
Because that
fear.
mental state, they start to want to
Look at this.
control
Look at this.
their partner.
I know.
Yeah, but
Control
I'm
their kids.
Do
you understand? Telling you you can't go out.
Do you know what it is? Can I just say something? It's not about controlling.
It's not about
Can I
controlling.
just say something? It's not about
Yes.
controlling your children, and it's not about controlling your man or your relationship. Do you know what it is a lot of the time? About you controlling a situation.
Yeah.
If
So
you
you
have
treat it
anxiety,
fairly.
if you have anxiety, like I do, I feel like I have to have control of a situation. Because
Yeah.
you see, if this is the bubble and it goes there, I'm like, everyone just stop!
Yeah.
Like, seriously,
Yeah.
and you don't even realise that you've blown. And then after, I'm like, why do you have to act like that?
And
And
you
you can't help it, you're conditioned to do
And
you
you know
wanna be
when you're
safe.
catastrophizing everything, when you're already thinking of a situation before it's even happened and you're making the worst of it,
Look
and
at this.
your anxiety's already gone through the roof by
Yeah.
that time.
Definitely.
Right, do you know what? We are getting pressed for time. I can't believe
Wow.
we've only got 15 minutes left. But I'm just going to do a little
Yeah,
short thing on
challenge.
mine, and then we can do a group thing. So,
Yeah.
alright, as you know, yeah, I'm Crystal, and yes, I have the highest level of anxiety I've ever known to man.
Highest.
I know you seem quite nice, man.
Right,
don't
so let
seem
me
like
break
you
this
got
down. If
high-
you know me, you know me. I'm not afraid to say this, and as I got older, I respect myself for being able to speak about it. So you see, on the outside, everyone sees the bubbly, happy Crystal. I'm very positive. I can feed you. I can support you. But you see, on the inside, I'm like, I'm a mess. No one look at me. No one chat to me. And I'm very defensive. You look at me too long, and you speak to me. I think you're speaking at me, and I'm like, what? Straight away on defense mode. So that's why I'm saying, when you grow up on survival, that's how I feel. I grew up in St. Paul's. I had to fight.
This is why girls
And I
like
didn't
us get
fight.
along.
I didn't fight. I got bullied. I got bullied. I was fat. I was this. I was that. I was like, cool. Went home and cried. You see, one day I can't even remember what it was. Yeah, bullied by this one. Yeah, let's not even get into that. It was my first, no, seriously, he was the first person in life that sent me home crying.
Come like say this guy here was just different, man.
He looked no, seriously. Oh,
This is why I have to get to the point. So I have to dodge.
I went out to the park. I was just trying to be involved with everyone else. I sat there and I looked at him about 30 seconds too long. He was like, "You looking at dog, you fat girl." I was like,
It wasn't
Oh, was this little teenager?
It was, no, but you know what? I can understand. Obviously, now we're big people, and I get
Obviously,
it.
yeah, as kids, you would say.
As kids, it was different, but you know
so
what
much
happened?
more mature now. He's so much.
And he's so different now. But you have to applaud it because
It's growth.
when you
It's
grow,
growth.
you
It's
grow.
growth.
And as I got older, what happened? I got angry.
Yeah.
And you see now, I feel like I'm not even gonna act like I'm bad, but I know I can defend myself 100%. So if someone intimidated me or got too close to my
I get that, though. I get that. That's something from the past. That's something from the past. That
it was the torment, the constant,
Yeah.
and now I'm just like, well, I'm bigger. I can defend myself. So I remember one girl that used to bully me.
She's sending a message to these bitches.
No, seriously, I seen a girl out there and she must have said something to me and I can't remember what it was. I was drunk, I just put her in a headlock. And I was like, remember what you used to do?
See, she said a message. She said a message.
And the thing is, we're so cool now. And even now, when I'm drunk and I see her, I'll bring it up. So even though I think I'm right over it, why are you still bringing it up?
You still do the headlock as a joke.
No. But what I'm trying to say is, masking it is a way of life, but we're not masking it. So don't normalize that.
That's
You know what we
ego.
do?
Yeah.
We learn to live with it, just like we learn to live with death. We learn to. It's coping mechanisms that we have to learn. No one gets it right.
Yeah.
I get anxiety in my belly. I have to take anti-anxiety tablets because I want to throw up. When I go out, I'm like, right, I'm not going. My eyebrows are wrong.
Yeah.
Like
Any
literally,
excuse.
any excuse for someone. But you know what my
But I
friends
think
do
that's
now?
I think that's a bit like there's a bit more extra pressure on women when you've got anxiety because of things like that.
Yeah.
Where a man doesn't need to worry about how
No.
he
But it
really
depends
look.
on how much
It's
you
just
care
the-
about it.
You know what I'm saying?
But
Like,
now some man
we
do,
worry
they
about
like, I feel
eyebrows
dope
or
about my
like,
trim.
you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, isn't
Nah,
it?
but
Like,
some people care and some people don't.
yeah,
No,
but
but
the
you know
majority,
what?
I say the majority overall.
Again, we're talking about
Overall,
majority.
yeah. No, but some people do, and we're in a
Some
world
people
now where a
don't.
lot
But I
of people
suppose,
care about their
I suppose
image.
it does seem to men like that we are really bothered about it, even us that aren't really that bothered about it.
No, because now if someone looked at me and would be like, "You're crusty," I'd be like, "Thanks." Like I don't mind. Like I'll go out without not out because you know hair and makeup's my thing.
No,
so I like looking a certain way.
crusty.
And it with the waves and them ting there.
Yeah, nah.
Rev walked in so proud of his waist today. I got really
I do. No do-rag.
No do-rag, no do-rag.
No do-rag.
But no, seriously, it's something that you
No
learn to live with. And I'm not
He's looking at
afraid.
it like, bro, what? You never use a do-rag, no?
I think what's really, really interesting is that we all, I think we've all had feelings before we had words to articulate them. I think when we were kids, we might have been offended by stuff. Yeah, judgments about stuff,
Man
but we
says
didn't have
your
the
mum
words
did.
for it. And then by the time you're 5, 6, 7, you kind of realise that, well, this situation ain't going to change, so I'm going to have to learn to deal with it. For me, it was my parents arguing too much. By the time I had words for it, they
Yeah.
ignored it.
Yeah.
So then I was
Yeah.
sick all the time. But then instead of
Yeah.
understanding that anxiety causes sickness, they're like, Jasmine's a sicky baby.
Mm.
So I stopped being a sicky baby, and I turned into an eggy bitch.
Yeah.
I was angry all the time.
Happens. A lot of the way we are
Yeah,
narcissistic.
As
Yeah, all of
children,
it.
we show all the signs. You
Yeah.
cry a lot, crying gets ignored. You throw up a lot, you don't eat a lot. You get told off for not
Yeah.
eating. You told that you're
And
not
then times you
ungrateful.
just get told, oh, what's wrong with you? It's like,
Yeah.
I'll give you
And then
certain
they go and
stuff,
argue
you
in
know.
front of you,
What have you-
and you're like, oh my god, like what's going on?
And what have you got to be? What
But
have
in
you got to be
fairness,
just
it's
like
really
you're a
hard
child?
sometimes,
It's
even
just
as
scary.
adults, when you don't have the necessary tools to understand
No, of course it
yourself,
is,
how
yeah.
you felt. So your child drops over, and you're like, "Get up, man, you're all right." Or your friend don't necessarily like her hair. What's wrong with you? You look good all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Do you know how I feel when people say, "What's wrong with you? You look good all the time."
Yeah.
Shut up. Don't speak to me.
That's
like
like a boosting thing.
No,
I'm not gonna lie though. I'm not gonna lie.
Hold on. Did I say no? You're not gonna. Right, let me school you. Let me school you. No, let me school you. Hold on. You see, for someone who has anxiety, telling someone you look good all the time is telling you, you're telling me that I look okay when I don't feel
What you want them to
okay.
say.
I get
There's
that.
a difference.
But I've been in that situation where I'm saying, when a woman's saying, oh, really getting out, and I'm like,
yeah,
there's
what would you
wrong,
want them to
wrong.
say?
I'm a man. There's nothing wrong, you look.
I get
that.
I'm
That's
not
why
saying,
they help
but
you.
it's like,
Yeah. So
That's
let me
how
tell you,
it
so how I
works.
deal, how I condition it, and how I deal with it is, my friends know, just give me a minute, and then after the silence, they'll be like, "So what do you want me to do?" Because I'm not being a brat, I'm not being a bitch, I'm not trying to be that person. It's just, if you know me, and I know Kerry's nodding because we've had conversations, so I know it's a similar. It's not easy because when you're in that moment,
That's
you're
good.
doing
That's
it.
good to know because I would have never even thought that.
No, but
then-
I would have been like, "Wait, I'm giving you a compliment and you don't." Like, I would have went nuts. I would have went angry now.
A lot of people are
No,
really
real talk.
embarrassed.
No, swear down. I'm
Real
not doing
talk.
that. I'm just giving you a compliment.
that would have
I'm giving you a
Hold on,
compliment.
can I say this
Yeah,
to the
go on,
viewers?
sorry.
A lot of people are really embarrassed to speak about how they feel mentally. So know that your opinion is always valid.
Yeah, please give us
All
your
the
You
opinion.
are always okay to speak to who you feel safe to speak to, and don't ever think that how you feel is not okay.
Yeah, man,
It
put
is
your questions
okay.
in.
The top.
Serious.
Yeah. I seen it today and I thought I'd bring it in. She did it from a week ago.
Yeah, read that.
It's okay. It is okay.
Nah, it's proper still. It's not around.
It's okay not to
Yeah,
be
and
okay.
I would edge people, if you don't feel okay, please find somebody to speak to because it's very, very necessary, because nobody should feel alone.
And I do think self-acceptance is key, because this is
Key.
the thing, it's
Okay,
absolute key, because you know, I could never, there are times when I'm feeling insecure, but if someone gave me a compliment, I could not cuss them. You know, I might be like, thanks, I'm not feeling it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Kerry, sorry,
if I,
guys.
yeah.
When someone gives you a compliment and you don't feel okay, sorry
She
to put
loves
you on the
it.
spot. How do you
I've
feel?
seen her Instagram. Have you
How
seen
do
her
you feel?
Instagram?
Ram came in earlier. Alright, let's not go into that. That's
No,
fine,
but you're very
that's fine.
confident. I rate you still.
But she's
Do you know what it
Go.
is?
Very
I'm
confident.
She's not.
What?
No,
I
this
don't
is
know.
not.
Have you
I
looked
find
at
this
the
one
gram?
I would
No,
take.
but wait. You're
I
very
find that this
confident.
is
And I rate it. No, but I rate it. I rate
Look
it.
at
Look
my
at
gram.
Instagram,
My
they look
gram.
confident, but they're not.
But
You
this
know
is
what I'm
it.
saying?
All of
What
us,
is it?
all of our
What-
Instagram.
So why do you feel
No,
confident
no,
enough
no,
to
no.
take those
So hang on a
type
minute.
of pictures where he thinks you're confident in?
Yeah.
Because it's the point of you're trying to work on yourself. It's not a quick fix to start loving yourself, and it's going to come with so many different like tiers and the changes you've got to make and things you've got to do that are outside of the ordinary for you to break out of comfort zone, so you can see that you don't need to compare yourself
Proper
to other
jazz.
people.
So what?
It's interesting. It's interesting.
No, I totally agree.
What are the
My
pictures?
business, my business.
He wants to see a pic.
No, I'm just
my
saying.
He's hungry.
Okay.
Follow her.
I'll get one for you, buddy. I'll get one.
You know what?
It's like-
I just asked you because
So,
I didn't.
okay, so for me
No, that's good.
personally,
That
if
makes
I
sense.
post
Let's be.
if I post a picture, it's because I felt good in that moment, and I'm going to
Okay.
post it
But that
Okay.
doesn't mean you
because I feel
necessarily at the
good.
time, and you posted it, and then a lot of times you think.
I will go
you
back
still
and delete
think,
them.
Yeah.
I'll go back and
Yeah.
delete
Do you
them.
take 20 pictures and choose one?
I'll take 50 and choose one, and
That's
that'll be the only one that I like.
I should
out of
take
50.
100.
But I'm taking 101.
Brother
Okay, so I've got to say,
Brother me.
I'm gonna.
Okay, I heard
No, I
that.
just want to sit down.
Oh, sit down, man. What's
Yo,
up?
relax, me. I'm trying to give him his
It's
opinion.
fine. It's fine.
So-
It's fine.
This is too personal.
Do you? So can you tell me
Oh,
Right,
sorry.
right, you-
Oh.
that picture I just seen there?
Yeah, yeah.
No, but I'm
So
confident as
you
well.
post that picture. What is that? Is that to make you feel confident, or is that?
No, I understand where you're coming from, and I understand why that's the perspective that everybody has. But it's a matter of like you were just saying just now, everyone's going through stuff that they don't portray on social media. And for me, I'm not in perfect shape. I've got hip dips, I've got stretch marks, I've got everything. So I will share that. I'm not going to suck it in. I'm not going to edit it.
So normalise.
Wait. Does it help your mental state when you get a few when you get likes in the comments?
So can I just say something?
Because
so hold on a minute. So
honesty,
you know, like
Hang on. I just have to say, my business is called Tiger Stripes Fitness, right? Because it's about accepting your stretch marks, accepting your mental health. Every single one of us has got. But what I find crazy is that we're putting pictures of ourselves.
He's like, what?
And then, but normalising normal bodies, but we all have a normal body. We all got marks.
Can I act like for
Look,
me?
can I just ask this one?
Yeah.
So see how you put that picture up, yeah?
Yeah.
What do you
Probably
like?
loves it,
No, but I'm just because I'm right. So you know that there are right. So there's women out here, yeah, like yourself, yeah. You got no confidence, or you got low confidence.
I've got low confidence.
Low
I might
confidence.
have a day where I feel fantastic.
Yeah. Cool. So
I
you
might
have your
have
days.
that'll be the day that
But
I
I'm saying-
take
You look good, yeah. You look good, yeah.
What like women might see that and be like, and it may feel them like it might make them feel pressured.
They might
You know what I'm
insecure
saying?
over that
That's
picture.
why-
Like because like
And then
obviously.
that's a problem for themselves to work on, and not Kerry's doing that for her own mental state, and it makes her feel good at that time to post that picture. But when people look at that and feel like, oh, I feel shit because she looks good, then that's their own mental state.
Yeah.
You get me?
Yeah.
And that's how I know. That's why
That's
Kerry
what I've
posts
always
that.
done
But
to
you,
myself.
no, but
They have
you,
to be more self-
that's what I was trying to.
Yeah.
No,
That's
so-
what
what I was trying to ask you is that how you feel when you see a woman?
I think she
I do
looking
that.
good
I've
on
done that.
Insta.
I've done that on social media. That's why, whilst I'm posting to make myself feel better, I'm posting to be that person that posts real life in a world where people are not being real. So I do it to help people because I didn't see those people.
It's a paradox, isn't it? Because media and entertainment used to be media and entertainment, but now it's normal people
It's
entertaining.
media and social and strife.
Now it's normal people entertaining each
So-
other.
yeah.
We haven't got the airbrush or the perfection or the fakery.
But I don't
but
want to be.
No,
Because
Yeah.
I think people need to normalise being perfectly.
But we are
perfect.
normal.
I'm
We're
not
not
gonna lie though,
normal.
I need to go to the gym still.
But having to
It's fine.
normalise
But is
anything
it not
makes
work
it
on me?
abnormal.
Do you all you women, this question to all of you, yeah? Do you not post certain pictures for attention?
I do.
Oh, that's another conversation.
I
Let's
do.
not do that.
Yeah,
Let's
that
not
is
do
a good-
that.
that's
That's
a
Yeah,
good-
but
Do you
I'm
want
advertising.
attention? Do you want
That's
it?
another
Do you want it?
conversation.
Different kettle of
On,
fish.
be
Really a
be
different
I do because I do
honest, like,
advertising.
do you want the attention when you get that picture? Do you want the 200 likes or?
If you posted a picture
If you got
and
no
feel
likes,
like you
would
look
it
good when
feel-
you
make you
posted
feel
it
away?
and you get likes for it and people compliment you, then yes, obviously. You
It's
don't
the
have
same
to-
thing.
No, but there's some
being
people that will
spoken
post
at
up.
right now,
I don't
because
care
if
about
you
their
do,
likes.
cut that off.
No, it don't make them feel no different.
Yeah,
They put that
yeah,
picture up
yeah.
because how they put
You're
it
right.
up. But there are some people that, like,
Take it down if they
if they don't get a
Kids,
certain amount of
kids,
likes,
kids, she's strong. What you
they will
on about?
take it down. You know what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say?
that is a
I'm
real
asking you
image thing.
if you don't
Alright,
mind.
we've got 2 minutes.
No,
guys.
no. My intention for posting a picture is not because I want X, Y, Z to comment on it and like it. That is not my intention. If I get that, fantastic. Sometimes the likes that I get, I'm surprised.
But I'm not defining attention. I'm just saying attention in general. Like, do you want attention from that pic?
From any
Are
point
you
of
asking does
post.
it make your confidence better? Does it?
Yeah, like well, obviously, like you know, if you get
Yeah, of
attention
course
from
it
the
does.
picture, it makes you
I don't know.
right,
It's
like,
like
you
it's
know
like
what I'm saying?
Bristol
You
was
get a
saying.
lot.
Likes make
But
you
I'm
feel more
wondering if he's
confident.
asking,
People-
does she use it for that reason? Not use it.
No, is that
Alright, guys, do you know what? I'm sorry, but it's
been
time.
great.
We gotta wrap it up. So
Vegas
you know
nerve
what?
breathing.
I'm going to say thank you
Yeah,
from
I'm
all of
cool,
us
man.
from the
Look at
reason because we are going to say goodbye and thank you for joining us on our mental
Let
health
us know what you
conversation.
think.
Let us know what you
Oh, yeah.
think. Give us the
Comment,
feedback
feedback.
and we love you all and we'll see you next week from the reasoning.
See
See you
you.
later.
Peace.